Hi everyone, welcome to Tile and Cork. We are Amy and Josh, and we moved to Lisbon, Portugal 1 year ago with our two kids. And we are sharing our experience about moving abroad with you and a little bit about our life in Lisbon.
And today we are talking about 1 year in, expectations versus reality,
Yes.
what we expected about Portugal.
And what the reality is.
Yeah, it's been not quite a year, right?
Yeah,
By a week.
by when this video goes live,
It's
it will have been a year.
Today is actually the last day of our kids' like summer school-ish thing. So they'll be home starting tomorrow.
So we're recording this
So
today.
this will be the last video we do for a while. Could be the end of our video career or the beginning of our children's video career.
Where they pop in
We don't
and
know.
just take over.
Yep.
So let's get into our list because we're talking about expectations versus reality today. And I think we both had some expectations of what our first year here in Portugal would look like. And I think, there's some stuff that has happened and is the reality, and then some stuff where our expectations definitely did not match our reality. So I'm going to kick it off with something light, but it's just something that I thought my reality would be, which is I really thought I would have a go-to cafe coffee place, like somewhere in our neighborhood where I would go, a few times a week, grab a coffee, like kind of become known as a local, and that hasn't happened. Now, I think it hasn't happened because I just haven't really found that place. And also, I just haven't tried a lot of places, even the close by ones, because I typically, after dropping the kids off at school most days, there's a lot to do. So I typically just come home, drink my French press coffee at home, and kind of sit down at my computer and start working, start doing laundry, just, all the stuff that happens with life that you need to do. So I typically don't take the time to pop into a cafe somewhere. So that is one thing where I really thought I would have that. And that's just not something that I guess I really prioritized.
Is there an answer to that? Are you going to start doing that more, or are you just?
I don't know. It's just a reflection. I maybe might try to incorporate it into more of our second year here, but I don't know. I had as an expectation, and I'm not sure it's something that I need in my life, even though I thought I did before moving here.
Of course, moving to Europe, we thought we would have the opportunity to travel more. We moved from Texas, where if you drive an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours in any direction, you're still in Texas. We thought, well, but an hour trip here in Portugal, we would even be outside of the country.
Well, that's not quite the case.
No?
No.
We traveled an hour?
I don't think so. Well, maybe if you travel east.
If you drove fast.
If you drove, I don't know. I'm not sure if you could get out of the country in an hour.
I don't know. It sounds like math to me. But we, I think we thought things were headed in the right direction as far as our visas and our long-term residency. And we thought perhaps we would have our residency cards by
Christmas.
Maybe as early as December. Yeah. If not, maybe February. Turns out we didn't get them until April and May.
Yeah.
And so
not even Easter. So, yeah.
So we couldn't, and without those, we really couldn't leave the country. Yeah, that put a crimp in our plans to travel.
Yeah, because we thought, we can't just pick up and travel anytime because we have kids in school. And so we have to do it when they have vacation. And, this past year, we didn't have our residency cards in December. We didn't have them, by some of the breaks that they had in the spring. And so, I didn't get my residency card until late May. And our daughter still after that. And even hers was late June. So.
And without that residency card, also, I couldn't apply for my driver's license either.
Yeah.
So.
And because we don't have a car here and you couldn't drive in the country, that limits our just being able to drive anywhere in Portugal as well.
Yeah. So more travel in the future?
Hopefully. But yeah, that was an expectation I think we both had, was that we would do a little bit more traveling, even within Portugal, last year. And honestly, we were just kind of, we didn't have our residency cards. And we also just wound up just kind of being busy. Okay, so the next thing that we expected, and the reality of it, is we expected that our kids at least would be fluent in Portuguese after a year, because they're going to school, they're surrounded
They're going to public school.
They're surrounded by people speaking Portuguese to them every day. They're surrounded by other kids that speak Portuguese. And so we really thought, like, through all of this osmosis and exposure, that they would be fluent. The reality,
we were told kids were sponges.
The reality of the situation is that's not quite the case.
What's the opposite of a sponge? I think they honestly.
It's a rubber ball.
I think that they not only did not learn Portuguese. I think they forgot a lot of English. Through a lot of the groups that we follow, and they were at the right age to pick up a second language, and honestly, it's been difficult to tell what they do know and don't know.
Yeah.
They don't want to speak Portuguese at home a lot, and I think it's because they spend most of the day in a Portuguese environment and get a little tired of having to talk or speak in Portuguese, and they just want to speak in English. Yeah. So we don't even know where they're at necessarily when it comes to Portuguese, and
I think our daughter, who is 7, defaults to, instead of trying to communicate with people in Portuguese, she defaults to asking them if they speak English. And so she'll try to do that when she's, talking to other kids or whatever. She wants to speak in English rather than Portuguese. So I think it's, it's just something, as she learns more, we'll get past it. But I think the expectation did not match the reality of what happened in this one.
I don't think she likes to be criticized. So she doesn't like to get things wrong. And our son acts like he doesn't know Portuguese, but he's a little bit younger. He's 5. But if you talk to him in Portuguese, or other people might talk to him in Portuguese, he will respond with the correct answer.
Yeah.
If maybe not in Portuguese, he'll speak back in English, but he understands more than he lets on. But,
yeah. So we'll report back after year 2.
When we got our apartment, we got an apartment that is smaller than our house that we used to live in, and with the expectation that we would be spending a lot of our time outside of our apartment and being in parks and playgrounds and cafes and beaches,
and going to the zoo, and just doing all the stuff Lisbon has to offer.
We'd be spending a lot more of our time outside.
Yeah.
And that's happened to some extent, but not what we thought would happen. What happened was we just got tired.
Yeah.
Everyone's tired after a long week of, being immersed in Portuguese culture. I think, our kids are a little bit more withdrawn on the weekends.
Yeah.
Like their alone time and quiet time.
Yeah, it feels like they almost, they need their recharge time.
I'm not going to blame them. It sounds like I'm blaming them.
No,
but
I mean, us too.
I think we all.
There are days there are times that we all get out of the house, and we appreciate the fact that we've gotten out of the house and have done stuff. But there are definitely days where Josh and I were like, okay, let's not really do anything today on the weekend, because we also need that recharge time from just like all the stuff we do during the week. I think we thought we would have more energy to go out and experience a lot more of life in Lisbon. And ultimately, we have needed breaks.
Yeah, we thought we'd be spending more of our time out. Of course, it's also, we have, I think, varying weather. It gets hot out. It's maybe sometimes too hot to go out. Sometimes it's too cold to go out or rainy. We've had a rainy spring, which made
very rainy.
This spring was, hard to get out for sure. But I think a lot of that's going to change as we get more acclimated.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what the next year brings.
And then next year we can also do another expectations.
Right.
Remember last year I said we'd be getting out more?
All right, so the next expectation we had is we thought we would be doing probably more connecting with other immigrants here to Portugal because we've heard that it can be hard to, kind of have Portuguese friends because, different culture and they already have their family and friends and stuff. So we thought more of the people we'd be hanging out would be other immigrants to Portugal. And I think the reality of that is we don't really have that many immigrant friends here. And there are people we do hang out with on, sometimes go get lunch with and stuff. But for the most part, the people we converse with on a daily basis tend to be native Portuguese people.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons is that a lot of the American friends we've made are still American, and so we aren't great at keeping up with each other and checking in and even getting together with each other.
And we also have different schedules. Like some of our friends here that are Americans, they don't have kids, and so they travel more than us and are, leaving Lisbon more to go do stuff. Whereas, we have pretty much stayed here since we are tied to the school schedule. And then, we also just live in different parts of the city. So I think overall, we just haven't, connected with as many Americans. And also the neighborhood we live in isn't really
it's not cool.
It's not cool and hip with the immigrants. So we haven't.
We don't go out at night.
Yeah,
much.
That's true. We really don't.
Wow, this is turning into sad.
This does sound really sad. But but the fact that we have that we get to be around more native Portuguese people is really a bonus.
Yeah.
It's
for us, not for them.
Right.
But for us. And being around different cultures, it's really kind of what we were hoping for. I used to go see a lot of music, see a lot of bands play and such. Of course, then we had kids, and I saw a lot less. I thought when we moved here, I would see a bit more. But for the same reasons, I think, having kids, I haven't seen as much music. I've been to a few venues. I'm kind of looking forward to when the kids are out of school, and maybe we get a little bit more rest. We don't have such long days where we are getting up for school in the morning to take the kids to school. And then, a lot of the bands start playing fairly late here. I was going to see a band last week, and the bar didn't even open until 10 p.m. So, and it was a weekday. So I don't even know what time the band was playing. I went out to a festival where the headline band started at 1:30 a.m.
Oh my gosh.
And that was a Thursday night.
And I think you still got up the next morning to help get the kids off to school.
Yeah,
so.
It was a tough one, but we're getting adjusted to the schedule. Now, the good thing is the kids, here go to school at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Where in the States, our daughter had to be at kindergarten at 7:30 in the morning, which, excuse me. So it's a little bit better that way, but we're still getting adjusted to, the Portuguese schedule, and hopefully we'll get to do some more of that music stuff soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And to kind of wrap this up, the last thing is we had the expectation that we would have a lot of adventures this year and also a lot of challenges. And we also figured we would fall more in love with Portugal this year. And luckily, all those expectations fit in with the reality. We did have a lot of adventures, even though we didn't travel a lot. We still had a lot of adventures in the city with the kids and great experiences. We had plenty of challenges between the bureaucracy and school registration and just a whole bunch of stuff. And we did fall in love with Portugal more. At least I did.
Yeah, all those things are true.
All those things are true.
I can't believe it's already been a year, and also it's only been a year. Everything it feels like an adventure if you treat it like an adventure.
Yeah.
We have no expectations.
Except the ones we mentioned.
Oh, wait. Yeah. We have a lot of expectations.
We have expectations.
I am full of contradictions. I am a complicated human. So, what was I saying?
No expectations.
Yeah. But as long as we just take things as they come,
Yeah.
it's been a good experience, I think.
Yeah, I think overall, like we're not trying, like we said this many times, we're not trying to recreate our US life here. We are trying to adapt, learn about this culture, and really embrace it. And so I think with that comes with, well, you might have some expectations. Like it is about embracing the challenges and differences so that way we can have these amazing experiences. So we hope you've enjoyed hearing about our expectations versus reality of this first year.
If you have some questions about like things that you're expecting Lisbon or Portugal to be like and want to know if they are true or you can expect them in when you visit or live here, let us know and we'd be happy to address those, and we can also ask our community.
Yeah, because I know we've got some Portuguese followers, so they might see and chime in because they might know better than us.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks for joining us, and hopefully we will see you for the next, or you'll see us.
Yeah.
For the next video.
It'd be creepy if we could see you. All right, well, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to our channel if you want to follow along and see more of our videos. Thanks for joining us.